stream. This is a very important live stream. And as people know about me, I don't read off of a script. I don't pre plan what I'm going to say. I pretty much just wing it. I usually have an idea in my head, more or less, I want to talk about, but I'm not reading off a script right now. So you could tell it's very real and candid. And because I'm telling the truth, I don't have to like worry, oh, if I'm going to make a mistake in what I say, right? Unless it's like a Freudian slip. But other than that, I don't have to worry because I'm telling the truth. So the sociopaths, I hope, are finally being exposed. Now, I'm going to use this as an example of a clear sociopath. But unfortunately, a lot of times in life, it's not so clear who the sociopaths are. And then the sociopaths try to make the victims look like they're the sociopaths. And I'll explain that later. But first, let's get straight to the point. Benjamin Netanyahu, the president of Israel. Israel, the country that pretends to be the victim constantly, but is actually the biggest bully. The Israelites, the whole people from that side, they're creeps, they're perverts. They control Hollywood, and Hollywood's full of perversion. The people who control Hollywood are Israel. You know which kind of people I'm talking about. Starts with a J. And they act as if they're the victims when they're the biggest bullies. So they're sociopaths. And Candace Owens and Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson and Anna Kasparian, and I'm not sure, they probably just saw it themselves, of course, but I was one of the very first to, when I saw Benjamin Netanyahu, his speech right the day after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I was like, that's a sociopath. And I called it out right there. Of course, I was one of the first. I might not have been the first. Doesn't matter who was the first. But I immediately, like right away, seen that's a sociopath. I have seen sociopaths in action. So I've gained experience recognizing sociopaths. Unfortunately, when I was growing up, I was very innocent and naive, and I was very trusting of everyone. And that led me to be betrayed many times. I was like, I'm not going to compare myself to Jesus, but basically, I don't know how else to explain it. I was basically crucified many times by these evil sociopaths. And I'll explain exactly how that went about. So, like, obviously, I'm trying to explain this the best way I could. I'm not always the best at explaining things, but once I try to explain it, you'll understand what I'm getting at. So I didn't mean to so anyways, I'm not comparing myself to Jesus, but I do think it's important to look at the story of Jesus and to say, how do we learn from this story? Whether it's fictional or not, there's a lot of scientists that think it's fictional. What do you learn from the story here? And you learn to spot the sociopaths. Judas was a sociopath. Jesus, in fact, kind of knew Judas was a sociopath. And then Jesus got crucified, at the hands of a sociopath. So, Benjamin Netanyahu, it's very clear as day when you look at his speech the day after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Any normal person who wasn't in on it would have, the day after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, any normal person would be shocked, would be disheveled, would be angry even, would be like confused. How did this happen? Oh my God. Benjamin Netanyahu, number one sociopath, president of Israel, comes out fully prepared with a letter, with a PSA, with an agenda, with a very refined speech, as if it was planned, like as if like this was one thing on his agenda, as if months prior, like they knew about the Charlie Kirk assassination in advance. Benjamin Netanyahu prepared for it. He had his old Israeli intelligence. They all got together, had a meeting. Okay, what's Benjamin Netanyahu gonna say the day after Charlie Kirk's assassinated? They wrote the letter. They wrote this. They wrote that. They wrote the speech for him, and then the next thing you know, the day after, like literally the day after, or it was even hours after, maybe it was around the day after, maybe even hours after, Benjamin Netanyahu comes out with a letter and a whole speech and a very polished like, and then like you look at that and like anyone, most people can clearly pick up that's a sociopath who was in on it, right? Because any other person who really wasn't in on the Charlie Kirk assassination would be confused, disheveled, angry even. How did this happen? Who did this? Oh my God, I'm in shock. And if you see that footage, you would be like that horrifying footage of the Charlie Kirk assassination. Any normal person who isn't a sociopath, who isn't in on it, any normal person seeing that footage of this person being assassinated, you would be like shocked to your core, like almost even speechless. And then you would not definitely be polished. You would not have a polished speech prepared. Only a sociopath who was in on it would have a polished speech prepared. And that's what Benjamin Netanyahu had. So this is an obvious example of a sociopath. Thank God we have an obvious one. But I will tell you that growing up in Canada, I have been victims to real sociopaths. And I'm going to start explaining my side of the story because I do think it's important and helps people understand where I'm coming from. Now, what my agenda is. And I do believe everyone has an agenda in life. Having an agenda is not always necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't mean you're a bad person, it doesn't mean you're a sociopath. Everyone kind of has an agenda in terms of, goals and what you want to accomplish in life. So for example, one thing part of my agenda is I'm an animal rights activist. I am also a lover of science and mathematics, and I want to advance humanity into the next stage of space exploration. I love space, I love astronomy, I love science and mathematics. This is definitely me to the core as my agenda, right? I also have an agenda of part of taking down the bad guys, the sociopaths, so that's also part of my agenda. So I definitely have an agenda. Everyone has an agenda. My agenda is not. I'm one of the good guys. I do have an agenda. All the good people guys have agendas too, but we're still part of the good guys. We're the good team, right? Now, does the end justify the means? Sometimes some of the good guys, maybe I'm not saying no, I'm not saying good guys should do bad things. That's not what I'm saying at all. Because that's what the evil people, that's the sociopaths. They always try to do evil things and then say, oh well, they were just doing it because sometimes good guys got to do bad things. No, I think there's a difference. Let's make a distinction here. I know it's hard. I know it's a bit confusing, but let's make a distinction between does the end justify the means, and what separates good guys doing bad things to who are the actual bad guys are. So, okay, I have an example. Anyone who disagrees with Charlie Kirk, you might be valid in disagreeing with him, but he deserves his right to a fair trial. So I'm not going to tell people that you can't disagree with Charlie Kirk and his what his agenda was, what his message was. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is there's a good way, the right way to go about if you feel like you were wronged by Charlie Kirk, there's a right way to get justice. And the right way to get justice is, bringing him to court. So this guy, if it was really him, right? Like I don't believe it was. I don't believe Tyler did it. I believe who Mr. Israeli pretends to be the victim all the time. I believe he's the one who did it. You know who I'm talking about. Uh, the guy who's packing a whole bunch of lies, who's packing more than just, the Israeli president he's packing more than just a big, he's packing a nuke up in there in Israel. They were getting ready to, anyways. So no. So let's just say that, let's say, for example, if Tyler is the one who did it, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. The right way to get justice on a person you believe has wronged the society would be to bring them to court, sue them if you have to, get your day in court, or even just go on social media and tell the world you don't like this person. That's one of the positive ways of free speech. You can use your free speech to disagree with people. If you think, if this, let's say Tyler did it, which I'm not saying he did. I don't believe he did at all. But let's say he really did it. Then the right way to actually get justice on someone is to use your free speech, go on social media. If you don't like what they're saying, then you have the voice to disagree with them. But the wrong way to get justice on a person who you consider your enemy is to for an assassination. That's the wrong way. That is a bad guy move. That is not a good guy doing bad things. That's a bad guy move. Now let's make that distinction very clear. I hope it's clear. An assassination on someone is not a good guy having to do bad things. That is a bad guy move. So anyone who tries to say, "Oh, that Tyler was justified," he was a good guy do it. Like if I'm not, I don't even think Tyler did it, but let's just say like, whoever the shooter was, if they're trying to say they were justified, for example, okay, let's talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who made me sick the other day. She's gross. She's ugly on the inside and out. She's a nasty person, and I believe she works for the Mexican cartel. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She basically says that, like, oh yeah, it's wrong that he was assassinated, but more or less, like, let's not forget who he was. That's what AOC's speech was about Charlie Kirk. If you go watch Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez's speech, basically I'll sum it up for you. Of course, I'm not going to say verbatim, but I'll sum more or less what I perceive. She basically said, yeah, of course she's condemning the assassination of Charlie Kirk, but let's not forget who he was, right? And she's basically more or less hinting that he deserved it to be assassinated, which is that's corruption. That's what they do that's what the Mexican cartel does. The Mexican cartel assassinates people and then says and pretends as if they deserved it. No, no one deserves to be assassinated. If you have a grievance with someone, you take them to court. You sue them. You go on social media and you announce to the world why you don't like that person. You do everything else, but you do not assassinate them. Assassination is murder. And if there's a person deserving of the death penalty, then take them to court, social media, etc. And I understand that when there are evil people, right, who even might even deserve it. So a lot of people, for example, say that Hitler deserved to be, right, which I honestly, given the fact that the media tells so much lies, especially about Germany, the media lied about Japan, World War II. I can't really say for sure what went down there because I wasn't there. But what I will say is, if you are a person who believes that Hitler deserved it, well, the right way, then if he really was guilty of all of these crimes, right? Then the right way, then you would have the evidence, right? If Hitler really was guilty of everything they said he did, if the Jews said Hitler did this and that, if Hitler was really guilty, then you'd have all the evidence to convict him in court, would you not? Right? But then Hitler mysteriously died, and people did say it was a suicide, but we never really know for sure, right? Because all these people are suddenly getting suicided who never had suicidal thoughts before. So what I'm saying is, if you disagree with someone, take them to court, sue them, use your freedom of speech, go on the internet and disagree with them. But public assassinations are wrong. They are just flat out wrong. And so Alexandria Cortez saying, "Oh, well, yeah, like of course, it's wrong, right?" And you could tell that she didn't believe what she was saying at the beginning when she said, "Oh, assassinations are wrong." She didn't believe that. She was saying that because it was like she had to basically say that. Like she didn't, but she was glad that he was assassinated, but she wasn't saying, she's condemning the assassination. She said that because she had to say that part of her speech, but she didn't believe that to herself. She actually was glad that Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And that's what the Mexican cartel does, is they assassinate people. So then for her to say, "Oh, like he deserved it," if we're gonna take society and go from, no more trials, no more free speech, no more court system, no more nothing like that. And trust me, I get it. The court system is corrupt. And a lot of people, a lot of times, will probably, you know, say things out of anger. I get that. When the court system is corrupt, when the evil rich elites are getting away with everything because they have hundreds of lawyers and you have no lawyers and you can't even afford, and then if you do even manage to afford a lawyer, he's an awful lawyer or she's an awful lawyer, fat bitch named Catherine. Anyways, if you do imagine, so I can understand why people would get angry. They would say things out of anger. But of course, there's a lot of people that say things and get angry, but they don't do anything. So for someone to actually go and assassinate someone, that is like, no, that's wrong. That is the bad guys there. That's a bad guy move. Okay? The good guys who are constantly being beat down by the corrupt police, beat down by the corrupt criminal justice system, beat down by a corrupt court system, the good guys will, out of frustration, say things out of anger. I've seen it. I've seen good people who have been wronged, right? Good people who've been wronged, good people who are the real victims, will say things out of anger and even will have sometimes prejudices, but like you can understand, for example, a woman who was allegedly raped, she might have a fear of men. She might have a fear of men. And while other people might not consider it valid, in her opinion, because she was raped by men, she will have not suddenly a negative fear of men. Are you saying that she doesn't have the right to feel that way after she had been raped by men? You see what I'm saying? So there are occasions where people do have valid fears, valid thoughts, valid whatever. But the way to accomplish something, the way that the good guys act is the good guys, you might get angry, you might say something, you might even swear, but we do things the right way. We sue them, we take them to court. Even if the criminal justice system's corrupt, even the court system is corrupt and it's rigged to only favor the rich elites, the evil rich elites. Even if the judges are corrupt, the lawyers are corrupt, well, they all are corrupt, the police are corrupt. You just keep appealing and you keep appealing and you keep appealing. You go on social media, you say your message. But assassinations of people it's a bad guy move. That's what the bad guys do. Okay? Unless it's in self-defense. Unless it's in self-defense, that's different, of course. But just that you don't like what someone was saying or you disagree with them, etc. So no one is saying that you can't disagree with Charlie Kirk. No one is saying that, oh, if you disagree with Charlie Kirk, then you're an evil leftist. Nothing. No one's saying that. What people are saying is assassinating him is not a good guy move. It is a bad guy move pretending to be the good guy, because the real good guys, we do things the right way, and the real good guys, we believe in freedom of speech. We believe in your day in court, your right to have a day, and unfortunately now, because of corruption, like the Mexican cartel, who is now starting to control the court system, people aren't getting trials no more. They aren't giving due process. They're not even giving trials. In fact, they're just going straight to assassinations now, you know? And so if the Mexican cartel doesn't like someone, wants them out, they just assassinate them, right? But the good guys, we will take them to court. The good guys will do our free speech. The good guys will do our own promotion campaign against someone, like a political campaign, right? Like the political party that's for the good people, right? So the good people will do things the right way, and assassinations, that's a bad guy move. So now I'll get into more or less my agenda and what I've been trying to accomplish for many years. So, once I explain things, so when people look at someone, I want people to start doing something. Look at someone's actions and then realize, wait, how is this person? Where did this person come from? What happened to this person? People usually do things for a reason, right? People do things for a reason. For example, if a woman um crosses the street when she sees a man, right? And listen, there's a lot of women that lie about this kind of stuff. So I'm not in any way, but let me just say, for example, the women who actually are telling the truth about allegedly who were raped, right? Which is awful. If a woman suddenly, oh, why doesn't she want to, like, why does she want to cross the street every time she sees a guy? Why does she do this? Why does she do that? People do things for a reason, right? So even women who sometimes, a lot of times, have prejudice against men, I can understand a woman who is allegedly raped, a real victim of rape. I'm not talking about the ones who lie about it, which those ones should be in prison, but the real women who are real victims of rape, alleged rape. I could see why they would suddenly have prejudice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could see why they would, not prejudice, I could see why they would be scared of men, why they would, it would be a normal reaction. So people do things for a reason. People, a lot of times, if you see someone doing something and you just the media would just wants to say, "Oh, they're crazy. They did it because they're crazy." This person dyed their hair blue because they're crazy. Oh, this person has piercings because they're crazy. Oh, this person doesn't do this because they're crazy. Whatever. That's wrong. Like, that's a wrong way of thinking. Usually people do things for a reason, right? The person dyed their hair blue because they just, and I'm not even a person. I don't dye my hair blue. I dress in all black. I'm not. See, that's the thing. That's I have this ability to not be so one-sided. Oh, leftist, leftist, leftist. Everything I don't like is a leftist. No, I have the ability. I'm not even a leftist to say, how do we explain this behavior from this side of this people, right? That we disagree with. So I can look at these leftists, these people who have the purple hair, the blue hair, the piercings and stuff, and I can say, oh, well, like, there's an explanation for why they do this. There's an explanation for why they have piercings. There's an explanation for why they have blue hair. It's not that they're just crazy leftists, okay? So this whole, oh, just call everyone we don't understand crazy thing is just stupid. Because there's reasons why people do things. Just like there's a reason why if a woman suddenly sees men that walking down the street, she walks the other way. She suddenly changes direction. You know what I mean? Especially if you can imagine if she had allegedly been raped, why she would not want to be around men. So especially men she doesn't know. So there's a reason why people do things. It's not that the woman's crazy. Oh, she sees men and she just starts running. Like, if a woman was allegedly raped, you could understand why she would have want to be fearful of men. So I'm just telling you, I'm telling the world, when you see people doing actions, there's a reason usually, right? There's a reason for the actions. And actions really are louder than words. Actions speak volumes, actions, right? So basically, my agenda for many years, I have been trying to fight these evil sociopaths. I for freedom of speech, 100%. And look, I don't agree with leftists. I don't have purple hair. I don't have blue hair. I don't have piercings. I don't have nothing like that. Right? But I also agree with their freedom to do that. I have agree with their freedom to have purple hair, to have piercings, to have tattoos. I agree with that. I don't think that they're crazy leftists and so like that's what I'm saying is like I'm so for freedom of speech that that's part of my agenda is freedom of speech that everyone has the right to be themselves. So my agenda is freedom of speech. My agenda is human rights. My agenda is science and technology, is space exploration. And unfortunately, for many years, I have been bullied by both sides of the people. So let me explain. So I am a homosexual, but I do not wear pink. I do not wear girly colors. I do not wear a rainbow flag. I do not do any of that. I do not go to those fake parades where I can explain why it's actually straight people doing it. Uh, I don't do none of that stuff. And then constantly, I'm being blamed for these people, what these other people are doing that are not even gay. My whole identity, my whole life has not been, oh, I'm a gay person. No, that's one aspect of my life which actually I prefer to have very private. And only for the fact that I was outed by homophobic women during a gay witch hunt, only for that fact am I even not closeted anymore. But really, traditional real gay men, we are closeted. So, I do not go to these creepy parades and walk around, exposed, throwing glitter and dildos around, and I don't wear a stupid rainbow flag. I don't do none of that. My whole identity is like science, mathematics, looking for aliens, like exploring other planets, like cool stuff, astronomy, Star Trek, like uh even Star Wars. Like my whole identity is having fun and free speech and finding new planets, finding aliens, science, mathematics, the periodic table of elements. Like my whole um microbiology, like biology, immunology, nanotechnology, my whole, or that's like my whole identity. But for the fact that there's all of these nut jobs going around with throwing dildos and glitter and everything, and those are not real gay men. I'm telling you, they're not real gay men. I'm telling you, real gay men, we are, we love having the secret. It's amazing, real gay men. When we're closeted, and keep in mind, I'm a virgin actually. After what happened to me my whole life, it's a long story, but I'm still a virgin. But I'm in my 30s. But basically, the real gay men, I'll tell you, real gay men. We love it when it's a secret. It's makes it that 10 times better. You're like married to some BS biatch of a wife. You're married to a biatch of a wife, and sneaking around on her with your best friend, your best buddy from the military, sneaking around on her and having the secret, this the secret that it makes when you sneak around and you have the secret, it's like spicy, you know what I mean? And that's why people love cheating. They love cheating because it's like, you know what I mean? That's why people love cheating. And gay men, unfortunately, I'm not coming here to tell you that, oh, gay men are perfect and gay men are this and gay. No, I'm telling you, I'm coming here to tell you the truth. Okay? I'm a real gay man, and I'm telling you that no, nobody's perfect. Even gay men are not perfect. But I'm telling you, this is what gay men do. This is what real gay men do, and this is what real gay men don't do. Real gay men do not cut their dicks off. Real gay men are not transgender. That is the opposite of gay. So when Megan Kelly, when I saw her saying, "Oh, the shooter, the alleged shooter, was gay and transgender, and a vegan, and a furry, and a leftist, and an artist, and he listened to Taylor Swift," like when I see Megan Kelly, no, Megan Kelly, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's a person who claims to be of common sense. Well, common sense is gay men love dick. We don't cut it off, honey. Gay men, it's literally the definition of a homosexual. Literally, the literal definition of a homosexual is men who like men. And what do men have? Dicks. That's like what makes the man a man. So we don't cut it off. So for Megan Kelly to be like, oh, the shooter was gay and transgender, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as gay and transgender. Especially if the person is allegedly gay, but then they want their partner to become a woman, that's a straight. Then they're straight. Then they're straight. Then they're straight. Homosexuality is two men. It's man on man. It's literally the definition of homosexuality, man on man. So if you have a person who's allegedly gay, but then they want their partner to become a woman, then they want to be a straight couple. Then they want to be straight. You see how people are getting everything twisted right now? So Megan Kelly was totally off on that when she was trying to say, oh, this person was gay and trans. There's no such thing as gay and trans. That's like saying that this person was a vegan and a meat eater. This person was a vegan meat eater, a vegan meat eater. There's no such thing as a vegan meat eater. Vegans don't eat meat. There's no such thing as a gay man who would ever advocate for transgender cutting dicks off. Gay men love dick. Gay men would never cut a dick off. It's like that's like blasphemy and for being gay. Gay men love dick, so why would they want to cut a dick off? Transgender people who want to cut dicks off, that is body mutilation. That is then they don't like then they clearly don't like men. Any person, any vile person who wants to cut a dick off is a nut job, and they don't like men. So they're not gay. Because gay men love men. Gay men love dicks. That's literally the definition of a homosexual. Gay men love men. So for Megyn Kelly to be like, "Oh, the shooter was trans and gay," there's no such thing. There's no such thing as a gay trans. There's no such thing. Gay men love dick. A gay man, a real gay man would never want to cut a dick off. A person who would want to cut a dick off, that's a straight. That's like that's a person who doesn't like dick. That's not a gay person. Gay men love dick. So a transgender person who wants to cut a dick off, that's a person who doesn't like men. You see what I'm saying? That's a person who doesn't like men. And you see all of these transgender people, they're not dating men. They're still dating women. Caitlyn Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner, who was formerly Bruce Jenner, who has like several who has a whole Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner. She even said it after she became transgender, after Bruce Jenner became Caitlyn Jenner. She still dates women. She doesn't like men. She's going around trying to cut dicks off. So let me go to comments. This isn't on repeat. I just saw some comments. I'm scrolling through the comments. That's why I went quiet all of a sudden. This is not on repeat, people. I'll read the comments. This is real. So this is a real live stream. Babby. No, it's Babby. I think Babby came in and said he finally stopped yapping. Elijah Reagan came in and said, or they just don't want to have it. Any person who doesn't want to have a dick is not gay. That's not gay. That is not gay. That's not gay. Literally, the definition of homosexuality is men who like men, man on man. And what makes a man is the dick. The dick makes the man. If a man no longer has a dick, they're not a man no more. So then if a man no longer has a dick, they're no longer a man and it doesn't fall under man on man. It's if you search the real definition of homosexuality is men who like men. And if you no longer have a dick, if you cut the dick off, you are no longer part of the gay man on you're no longer part of that. Because the dick is the whole point. The dick is the whole point of being gay. It's literally the whole point. The dick is the whole point of being gay. It's literally what makes the man the man. So any person who wants to cut a dick off is definitely not gay and in fact anti-man. And in fact and hate doesn't like men. Any person who wants to cut a dick off doesn't like men. Any person who advocates for cutting a dick off is not a person who likes men. A real gay man would never advocate for mutilation, would never advocate for cutting a dick off. Because gay men love dick. So they would never advocate for cutting it off. Any vile person who wants to cut a dick off is a person who hates men. A person who wants to cut a dick off is a person who hates men. So we have to make this distinction because you can't just say if you don't like Megyn Kelly, for example, but she's one of many who does this. Any person they don't like, all the people they don't like, they just lump them together. Oh, he's a vegan. Oh, and he's trans. Oh, and he's gay. Oh, and he's whatever. Oh, and he's a double dipper. He double dips his chip, and or he's a litterer, right? He's a litterer. He's gay, and or he's allegedly trans. He's gay, and then he's a vegan, and he's like Megyn Kelly, just all the people she can't like. Um, and he's a leftist. He's a crazy leftist and a vegan and a gay and trans and a lesbian and like no honey, those all those things you just mentioned are all different. They're not the same. There's no such thing as a vegan meat eater. There's no such thing as a gay trans. So Megyn Kelly, a person who claims to be for common sense, how do you not know that you cannot call gay people trans? Like gay men love dick and trans want to cut the dick off. If a vile person wants to cut a dick off, they're not gay. They're in fact they're anti-gay. That's like the anti-gay of gay is a person who any person who wants to cut a dick off. That's not a person who likes men. That's not a person who's gay. So I don't know how like this is supposed to be common sense, but clearly it's not because people like Megyn Kelly are trying to incite and by saying, "Oh, the shooter was gay and the shooter was trans and the shooter was a vegan." Honey, what do you think? You think everyone's just going to start going after vegans because you said the shooter was a vegan? Megyn Kelly, you got to get some common sense. And to say that, "Oh, he was gay and trans." There's no such thing. Gay men love dick. A gay man would never advocate cutting a dick off. I know people are coming in and saying, "Oh, you said that already. You said that already. You said that." Clearly, I have to say this many times because clear people are still confusing and saying calling gays trans. I have said this many times. I've said this years ago. I've said this all my life that gay and trans are not the same. They're totally different. But still, women like Megyn Kelly are still saying that gay is trans. So, yes, I have to say this many times. I have to say this as many times as necessary so people finally realize that gay and trans are like the opposite. It's like saying you have a vegan meat eater. A person who's vegan does not eat meat, so you can have a vegan meat eater. A person who's gay loves dick and would never cut a dick off. So you can have a person who allegedly loves dick and also cuts the dick off. If you love a dick, you don't cut it off. If you're a gay man who really loves dick, then you don't cut it off. So any person, any vile person who wants to cut the dick off is not gay. That's a person who doesn't like men. A person who wants to cut a dick off is a person who doesn't like men. They're pretty much a lesbian at that point. Lesbians want to cut dicks off. Lesbians want to cut dicks off. Yes, lesbians want to cut dicks off. I hope that explains it. That should explain it. Lesbians want to cut dicks off. Gay men love dick. Gay men would never want to cut a dick off. Lesbians and transgender want to cut the dicks off. Lesbians and trans. You could actually probably more or less make the argument that trans are lesbians because they both like cutting dicks off. Right? Right? Real lesbians and transgender, what do they both like doing? They like cutting dicks off. So you could actually make the argument, actually, that lesbians and transgender, there's such a thing as lesbian transgenders, because they both like cutting dicks off. But gay men do not cut dicks off. Gay men love dick. It's the purpose of being gay. It's the whole point. It's literally the definition. Homosexuality, men who like men. And what makes a man? Dick, especially a big one. A big one makes the man. Okay? So, honey, Megyn Kelly, you are trying to incite, but I don't think you realize how stupid you are. Because it's like, you really think, oh, you say the shooter was gay and the shooter was trans and the shooter was a leftist and the shooter was a vegan. Honey, you think suddenly everyone's going to start going after vegans because you said the shooter was a vegan? Honey, Megyn Kelly, get some common sense. You're claiming you're for common sense. You literally say on your show you're like common sense type of person, but then you don't say common sense. You say you call a vegan a meat eater. You call a gay person a trans. Gay men love dick. Trans like to cut the dick off. Clearly those people are the opposites. Vegans don't eat meat. Meat eaters eat meat. So vegans and meat eaters are the opposite. You can't say there's a vegan meat eater. You can say it, but it would be wrong. You realize how stupid you are by saying that there's such a thing as a vegan meat eater. There's such a thing as a gay man who likes to cut dicks off. There's no such thing as a gay man who likes to cut dicks off. There's no such thing as a gay transgender. A real gay man never wants to cut a dick off. If the person wants to cut a dick off, they're a lesbian. Lesbians cut dicks off, okay? Actually, this is honest. This is just pure honesty. Lesbians, that's what lesbians do. They want to cut dicks off. Lesbians and trans want to cut dicks off. Maybe those people would get along. A lesbian might go to dinner with a trans and discuss how they like cutting dicks off. Lesbians and trans would get along. Lesbians and transgenders would get along because they both like cutting dicks off. But you go to a bunch of gay guys, you go to a bunch of gay Russian military soldiers, and you start talking about cutting dicks off. You'd be like, "You're not touching mine." The gay Russian military soldiers would be like, "Get away from me, you nut job." Suddenly, all the Russian military soldiers start grabbing holding their. They're like, "Don't touch, get away from me, you nut job. You're talking about cutting dicks off. Get away from." A real gay man would never allow that kind of conversation. It well, real gay men obviously are for free speech. I'm not denying free speech, but real gay men would not want to listen. Would not want to listen to someone, like they would just leave, right? If you're a transgender and you go up to a group, a bunch of Russian army guys, and a transgender starts talking about cutting dicks off, the Russian gay army guys would leave. They would leave. They'd be like, I don't want to listen to this. We don't have to listen to this. People have free speech, but I also have the freedom to not want to have to listen. I could just leave, right? So if I don't like something, if I don't like what someone's saying, I'll leave, right? If I don't like, I don't have to listen to Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift has her free speech. She can make her shitty music. Taylor Swift has her freedom of speech. She can make her shitty music, but I don't have to listen to it. So, that's part of my freedom is I don't have to listen to that dumb bitch who hates men. Taylor Swift, all these years, she's like, oh, men cheat or men cheated on her, men are this and men are that. Hey, Taylor Swift, it does look like you like men because you're married to that nice football player. You're married to that nice football player. So were you a liar all those years when you were saying men suck and all your songs, men this, men that, we'll never get back together. Men, I can't like Taylor Swift has the most anti male music. Taylor Swift is the most anti man singer. The majority of her songs are very anti man, very emasculating, the majority of Taylor Swift songs. But clearly, she's a lying hypocrite because she does like men. Because she's married to a gorgeous she's married to a gorgeous football player. Taylor Swift is married to a gorgeous football super player. So clearly, Taylor Swift does love men. So she's a liar. All of her songs, she made herself rich by trashing men. Taylor Swift made herself a billionaire by trashing men. That's how she made herself a billionaire. And she's not even a person who really doesn't like she's a liar, she's a fraud because she actually does like men because she's married to a gorgeous Super Bowl football player. But she made her money. She became a billionaire by writing all of these songs that are anti-man. That oh men this, men suck, toxic masculinity. That's gonna be Taylor Swift's next album. Taylor Swift's next album's gonna be toxic masculinity. Men suck. Well, men do suck sometimes, but not in the way that. Anyways, so Taylor Swift, you suck, actually, honey. You suck, and I don't have to listen to her music. That's the point. I mean, she has the free speech. She can say whatever she wants. She could say whatever she wants. She could write all the shitty music she wants. She could write the most, whatever she wants to write. Write however songs, however But I also have the freedom. I don't have to listen to her. Every time I hear her song on the radio, I'd be like, turn it off. Immediately change the channel. I don't have to watch her either. That's my freedom. My freedom. I don't like. And so that these are normal reactions from normal people. If you don't like someone, if you don't like what they're saying, you just leave. You don't have to listen to them. And so that's the point, right? And especially too, that's real gay people. We are for freedom. Real gay people are for free speech. We are for freedom and free speech. We are not going around trying to push homosexuality on other people. In fact, real gay people, we love being closeted because it's so much spicier when it's a secret. You know, when you're like a married man, and let's say your wife is Megan Kelly, who's like a total biatch, right? And you're a married man, and your wife's Megan Kelly, she's a total biatch. Listening to Megan Kelly yap all day about how she doesn't like gay men, she doesn't like this, she doesn't like that, she doesn't whatever. Listening to Megan Kelly yap all day, and you're a closeted gay man, and you're a married man, and then you sneak around on your bitch of a wife. It's when it's a secret. It's so much. This is why people cheat. This is why gay men love cheating because if when it's a secret, it's like forbidden. When it's a secret, it's like taboo. You know what I mean? It makes it spicier cheating. So that's real gay men. Real gay men are closeted. And we get better jobs. We give better jobs too. But no, we get better jobs. Gay men, we get better jobs when we're closeted. We do. It's so much easier to climb the social ladder. It's so much easier to get the better jobs when you're closeted, right? When you pretend to be straight, when you walk around, you have a straight voice. That like any people who are openly gay only because they have to because they were outed, people who are openly gay we do not get better jobs. I am not the head of the CIA. Okay? If I were straight, like closeted, like I and trust me, I tried being straight. I tried being closeted, but I was outed in a gay witch hunt by homophobic women. But if I could still, I would be closeted. And I'd probably be like a spy for the CIA right now. The Central Intelligence Agency would have hired me to, like, as a Canadian asset, working secretly for the CIA. But I'm not because I'm a homosexual. I'm a real homosexual. And I was outed. And so real gay people, we don't get better jobs. We don't. It's better when we're closeted. We get better jobs when we're closeted, when we're straight, when we can just blend in like everyone else. When we can just blend in like everyone else, then we get better jobs. So there's no advantage to being openly gay. There's really not. It doesn't. I mean, listen, in this new world, they're trying to portray that openly gay people get advantages and this and that. First off, that's definitely not the way it was 20 years ago. I'm in my 30s, and 20 years ago, no, it was not advantageous to be openly gay. And I was abused for years. I was subjected to gay witch hunts. Homophobic, sociopathic women came after me for years. So maybe things are changing now, okay? But it wasn't like this 20 years ago. Even 10 years ago, I would say. Only recently now you're starting seeing these people, these openly gay people making millions of dollars, six-figure jobs. But this is the way it was 20 years ago. 20 years ago, we were like, you know, being openly gay was like career, it was the end of your career being openly gay. The 20 years ago. That's the way it was. Of course it's wrong, right? But what I'm saying is that we prefer being closeted. It's just better. It's better. Sneaking around is better. Having the secret is it's better. It makes it better. It makes it spicier. That's real gay man. That's the mind of real gay men. Gaydar's real. There's such a thing as gaydar, and I can tell when men are really gay and when they're faking being gay. And the first obvious sign of a person who's faking being gay is someone who wants to cut a dick off. Anyone who wants to cut a dick off, you're not gay. If you don't like dick so much that you want to cut it off, you're not gay. Like that, you don't even need gaydar for that. That's just common sense. Like that's actually you don't even need gaydar for that. Like that's not even gaydar. That's just common sense. Any person who wants to cut a dick off is not gay because clearly they don't like dick. Gay men love dick, and any nut job who wants to cut a dick off is not gay because clearly they don't like dick. So that's just common sense, actually. So, like Megan Kelly, you say you have common sense. Well, hey, gay men love dick, and and lesbians want to cut dicks off. So any person who wants to cut a dick off is pretty much a lesbian or transgender. They're not gay, because gay men love dick, and nut jobs who want to cut dicks off are not gay because they clearly don't love dick. So it's very simple when you put it that way. So. So someone came in and said, Uh, I don't you call nobody homophobic when you're a misogynist? I'm not a misogynist. I'm not, and like I didn't call anyone homophobic. I didn't single anyone out. I just said society. I said homophobia in society. I didn't single anyone out and call anyone specifically homophobic. But you calling me a misogynist? I'm not a misogynist. I think I am gay men, real gay men. We believe in freedom. But that also includes the freedom that I don't have to listen to Taylor Swift. I'm not a misogynist just because I don't want to listen to her. Taylor Swift has the freedom. If I was a misogynist, I wouldn't but I'm the first one to say Taylor Swift has the freedom to sing whatever she wants. But I also have the freedom not to listen to her. That doesn't make me a misogynist just because I don't want to listen to Taylor Swift. My freedom is I have the right to listen to whoever I want. I'm not taking Taylor Swift's freedom away. I'm not taking her freedom away. I clearly said I'm the first one to fight for Taylor Swift's freedom. I fight for everyone's freedom. I'm the first one to fight for freedom and say Taylor Swift has the right to say and feel and think and sing music to however she wants. I'm the first one to say to fight to defend. I'm the first one to defend Taylor Swift's freedom to do that. But I also have the freedom that I don't have to listen to her. I don't have to listen to her shitty music. I don't have to listen to her trash men all day. And the men suck, men suck. Taylor Swift, oh, such a victim, a millionaire victim. Taylor Swift, oh, men suck, men suck. Toxic masculinity. I don't have to listen to that garbage all day. That's my freedom. My freedom is I don't have to listen to that. So no, I'm not a misogynist just because I don't want to listen to Taylor Swift singer's shitty music. Hey, you want to listen to good music? There's a lot of rock. I love rock music. Those can you listen to rock music? Rockers can sing. Taylor Swift can sing. She cannot sing. She's not a singer. Taylor Swift is an insider. Taylor Swift is a professional victim. Taylor Swift is a men suck, men suck, men suck. Taylor Swift is a gimmick and a manipulator. Taylor Swift cannot sing. You know who can sing? Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey, like her voice is from God. Mariah Carey can sing. Carrie Underwood, Whitney Houston, Celine Dion. They can sing. So don't. In fact, calling me a misogynist, I listen to women all the time. I listen to Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey can sing. Oh my God, her voice is like from God. She's if like a person who has superpowers was a singer, like her voice is like beyond. I can't even believe her voice is her voice. Mariah Carey can hit certain notes that could like almost people you think she could shatter glass. That's how good of a singer Mariah Carey is. So I'm not a misogynist. I'm the first one to appreciate good women and good singers. Taylor Swift is not a singer. She's not a good singer. So Mariah Carey is a singer. Whitney Houston, a singer. Carrie Underwood, a singer. Even Adele. Adele's pretty good too, actually. I liked Adele's when she did the Skyfall for the James Bond movie. Skyfall. And then the Skyfall. Da 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 da. I can't sing, so I'm not gonna sing, but so that's what I'm saying. I'm not a misogynist at all. But you have to, as Taylor Swift, she is actually pretending to be a victim and she's trying to pretend like she's calling out toxic men. But actually, no, it's Taylor Swift is the toxic one. Taylor Swift is a toxic woman. Taylor Swift is a toxic female. And look at Britney Spears. Hey, let's go to Britney Spears for a second. Britney Spears, she doesn't do music hating on men. Britney Spears doesn't do music like, oh, Britney Spears loves men. Britney Spears, like, oh my God, Britney Spears, if anyone loves men, it's Britney Spears. Britney Spears loves men. And her music is great too. And Britney Spears, I have to say, she isn't the best singer, but Britney Spears, she's an entertainer and she's a good dancer. Taylor Swift can't even dance. You see Taylor Swift dancing, she just jumps up and down like an idiot. Taylor Swift can't dance. Britney Spears, as much as, she might not be the best singer, I will admit that. Britney Spears is a phenomenal dancer. She is an entertainer, Britney Spears. And Britney Spears doesn't do music, hating on men. And men suck, men are cheaters, blah, blah, blah. No, Britney Spears, she loves men. And you could clearly see that by her music videos. You could see how much Britney Spears loves men by her music videos. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not a misogynist at all. There's a lot of women that I appreciate that I love. I think Britney Spears. I don't think she's the best singer, but she's definitely an entertainer. She's very good. She definitely deserves to be a millionaire, billionaire. Britney Spears, and from Mariah Carey, especially Mariah Carey, amazing voice. So yeah, no, I give props where they're due. A misogynist would be like against all women. I'm not against women. I'm not like that. I'm against the bad women. I'm against toxic women like Taylor Swift, who became a billionaire by hating on men. The majority of Taylor Swift's songs are anti-male. The majority of Taylor Swift's songs are like hating on men. Men suck, men cheater, men this. We'll never get back together. So no, and then Taylor Swift, she goes and she tries to push her politics on everyone. Well, hey Taylor Swift, here I have my politics too. Uh, uh, you know, so I have my own politics, and my politics is I like men. Taylor Swift, I like men, and I like women who like men. I like Britney Spears. Britney Spears likes men. I like men. Me and Britney Spears, well, she would never talk to me, obviously, but let's say, for example, me and Britney Spears went to dinner. We would talk about how we both love men. Britney Spears loves men. I love men. Me and Britney Spears, we'd get along. Me and Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift's a fraud. Taylor Swift's a friggin' fraud. And it's so hard for men. It's hard enough as it is for men. Then you got Taylor Swift going around, men are cheaters, men suck, men this, men that, and she's making money. And she can't even sing. Heck, Mariah Carey loves men. Mariah Carey loves men. But even if, for example, Mariah Carey made a song that was like anti-male or this and that, well, Mariah Carey can sing the phone book, so it still would sound good. Even if Mariah Carey, at least Mariah Carey could sing, like, but Taylor Swift, you can't even sing. You're trashing men and you can't even sing. You're trash. Taylor Swift is trashing men. Meanwhile, she's trash herself, Taylor Swift. And then she's a hypocrite. She goes and marries the most gorgeous Super Bowl football player. Hey, Taylor Swift, I thought you didn't like men. You're married to a gorgeous one, a gorgeous Super Bowl football player. So what I don't like is hypocrites. I don't like manipulators. I don't like people who pretend to be the victim, but actually are the most toxic people themselves, and then are just manipulating people, manipulating the masses, and then making themselves filthy rich over it. So no, I'm not a misogynist. I'm a person who calls out BS. So let's go back to comments. Devious. His name is Devious, and his look at his comment. Devious came in, and Devious said, "Taylor Swift is one of the most successful artists of all time. She will go down in history as one of the greatest musicians who've ever lived, and nothing you say will change that." I'm, I don't have to like her. I don't have to listen to her. So if you're one of those crazy Swifties, you can I never denied that you can listen to her if you want to. You can watch Taylor Swift, you could go to her concerts, you could do whatever you want. I'm not denying that, but I'm telling you, she can't sing. If you put Taylor Swift next to Mariah Carey, Britney Spears, which by the way, if you try to send the Swifties after me, just keep in mind I just dropped Mariah Carey, Britney Spears, Whitney Houston, Carrie Underwood. I dropped names of people who could sing. So I have my own fans. No, I don't have fans. What I'm saying is I belong to a fan base of singers who can actually sing, like Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Britney, like anyways. So if you try to send the Swifties after me, but I'm just telling you like it is. If you put Taylor Swift next to real singers like Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Celine Dion, even Christina Aguilera is a great singer, Ariana Grande, Taylor Swift can't sing. So I don't have to listen to her. I don't have to listen to her. Not only can she not sing, Taylor Swift, but then her music is toxic. She's toxic. She's a fraud. She claims she made all this money off of music where she says she hates men, she can't stand men, and then she marries the most gorgeous man, Super Bowl football player. So no, I don't have to listen to Taylor Swift. She has the freedom to make her music, and I have the freedom. I don't have to listen to her. And her songs are annoying too, and she can't even sing. So someone came in and said this Taylor Swift slander is crazy. I'm not slandering Taylor Swift. I didn't slander her at all. She can't sing. She can't. I have the right. I believe. I don't think she can sing. That's my opinion. I have the right to have an opinion, and I don't like Taylor Swift. I don't think she can sing. I don't. She's not even a good dancer. I'm the first one to call out good dancers. I'm the first one to call out good singers. Britney Spears, she can dance. Britney Spears, that's a performer. Mariah Carey, she can sing. Whitney Houston, she can sing, or she could sing before she would. They could all sing. Celine Dion, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston will forever be the number one singer, one of the number one singers. Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Celine Dion, Carrie Underwood, they can sing. Adele, Ariana Grande, they can sing. So I'm the first one to call out a good singer. There's a lot of good female singers. So, but Taylor Swift, she cannot sing. It's like, in fact, the fact that she's even a successful and a billionaire, there's something more to that story. Like maybe Taylor Swift was secretly works for the CIA or something, and then every all these countries they think they're getting Taylor Swift, and they're actually getting a double agent come in. Like Taylor Swift is going around, oh, I'm Taylor Swift, and I'm so, and then like Taylor Swift goes to Germany, and the Germans think that Taylor Swift is just a singer. And the next thing you know, Taylor Swift like breaks into a government office in Germany, and then no one suspects that Taylor Swift would be like a double agent. Like there's got to be more to this story, because how did this person become a superstar singer? How does a person with no talent, how is a person who is it has can't sing, makes the most horrible toxic music, not even the most attractive, can't even dance? How has this person become a multi-billionaire singer? Like she's not a singer. Like how does this person become a multi-billionaire like that? Like auto tune can only go so far. Auto tune and a good marketing team and decent looks can only go so far. You take a person who can't sing, is toxic, writes toxic lyrics, toxic masculinity, men suck, men suck. She can't even sing. How did this person become so rich and successful? Mariah Carey. Oh my God, you listen to Mariah Carey sing? That this woman throw her diamonds. This Mariah Carey. Oh yeah, you listen to Mariah Carey sing. Oh my God, she deserves to be a billionaire. Mariah Carey. Taylor Swift. You listen to Taylor Swift sing. There's people on American Idol. There's rejects on American Idol who can sing better than Taylor Swift. There's rejects on American Idol who could sing better than Taylor Swift. Why aren't they multi-millionaires? How is Taylor Swift with her toxic garbage music? Men suck, I hate. How did Taylor Swift? So there's something more to that story. There's something more to the Taylor Swift story. I'm telling you, she might be really aspire something for the CIA. You know, they have that. They do. They're not. The CIA is not stupid. The Central Intelligence Agency. They use singers and famous people to get into places because you know, for example, if a random person just goes to Germany, that's just a random person. Germany be like, who the hell? I don't care, right? But Taylor Swift goes to Germany. Suddenly, all the Germans are Taylor Swift, and they're just gushing over Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift. Hi, can I go, can I see that government building over there? Taylor Swift to be like, can I see that government building? And they'd be like, the Germans will be like, oh yeah, das is good, Taylor Swift. Yeah, here's the key to the. Then Taylor Swift is like working for the CIA. She goes around like, getting all those German government files. There's got to be more to the story here. Why Taylor Swift is successful? Because she definitely didn't become successful from her voice. Taylor Swift didn't become successful from her singing ability because she cannot sing. Taylor Swift did not become successful from her dancing ability because she cannot dance. And Taylor Swift didn't become successful from her lyrics, her music lyrics, because her music lyrics are toxic. Like they look like like if Taylor Swift was the modern day Shakespeare, Shakespeare would like roll over in his grave if Taylor Swift was the modern day Shakespeare. You listen to Taylor Swift, the lyrics, they're garbage. She can't write either. It's almost as if she's not even English. Like Taylor Swift, it's almost as if she's like a Russian who's like this Russian spy who like who has a low grasp on the English language. Taylor Swift, her lyrics are garbage. They're awful. Her lyrics. They're not poetic. They're not like, even Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey, oh my God. Mariah Carey, the lyrics are poetic. Vision of Love. Mariah Carey's song Vision of Love is one of the most poetic, beautiful songs, written songs, and she can actually sing. Mariah Carey. Taylor Swift is just like, oh, men suck, men suck. That's not Shakespeare. Taylor Swift, you're not triggering Shakespeare. You're like the opposite of Shakespeare, Taylor Swift. So someone came in, Erg came in and said, you can barely speak English too. But I can barely speak English because I'm a Russian spy. That's why I can't barely speak English. I can't speak English. I'm not some crazy bitch who's gonna make a career out of hating on men, being toxic towards men, when men have enough problems as it is. Men have enough problems as it is. Then on top of it, we got a crazy bitch, female like Taylor Swift going around, men suck, men are cheaters, men are cheaters. Is your boyfriend cheating on you? Oh, Taylor Swift is such a victim. Taylor Swift is such a victim. Oh, and living in her billion-dollar mansions. Taylor Swift's such a victim of the world. She hates men so much, but then she goes and marries the most beautiful Super Bowl football player, Taylor Swift. So, I was joking about the Russian spy thing. I'm not really a Russian spy. Just want to make that clear. I was joking about that. But no, my English is bad just because, you try doing a live stream and then reading the comments at the same time and then, trying to tell the truth about Taylor Swift. Not easy. And then I do speak fluent Russian. I'm not a Russian spy, but I studied the Russian language for years and I do speak fluent Russian. So then imagine trying to going to switch back and forth from English to Russian, which by the way, for my Russian audience, if there are any Russians in here, привет всем, добро пожаловать на мой канал сегодня вечером. А, и я хочу говорить, что по-английски и по-русски. Спасибо за внимание сегодня. И я хочу сказать, что, по-моему, это очень сложно, очень печально, что случилось с Чарли Кирк. Это очень печально. Я не могу поверить, что случилось с Чарли Кирк. Очень печально. И я хочу сказать еще раз благодарю тебя, благодарю внимание и все люди в мире. Особенно я думаю, что я только что я только что подумал, что это очень страшно, что американские правительства, что происходит сегодня, что происходит в настоящее время наше мире, наше правительство, мирные правительственные, очень сложно, и я хочу сказать, это очень страшный мир сейчас, и спасибо еще раз на внимание, и это все, я могу говорить по-русски, но я должен говорить по-английски, так много людей здесь, которые быть несчастливый, недоволен, если я продолжаю говорить по-русски. И поэтому я должен говорить по-английски сейчас. Поэтому, yeah. So basically, I basically just said that I just said a whole bunch of stuff in Russian. So I studied the Russian language for years because you know what? Like men, like we can't just uh you know men don't get out of speeding tickets. Men don't get free drinks at the bar. Men don't get other men throwing themselves at each other. Men don't get showered with flowers. Men don't get free everything free. Men don't get treated like men go through so hard to be like being a man in this world. Like imagine, right? Imagine this. Okay, that's the perfect example of this. Construction workers. Construction workers. The most manly, hardworking men, I would say, are construction workers. Like those, it's not easy being a construction worker. Those are real men. And then who's all these women that suddenly try to portray the stereotype of the misogynist construction worker whistling at women? Listen, if I was walking down the street and a bunch of construction workers, those manly construction workers, if they whistled at me when I was walking down the street, I'd be like, oh, you know what I mean? But women be like, he whistled at me. Oh my God. Oh my God. He whistled at me. And also, at the same time, she's like, why are all the men gay? So she's complaining about the straight heterosexual construction workers that want to sleep with her. She's complaining about the men who are whistling at her. But then at the same time, she's also complaining about, why are all the men gay? I can't find a single man. And then she actually does come across single men, these construction workers that start whistling at her. Hey, honey, And then she's like, oh, you're objectifying me. Bitch, can you make up your mind? Do you want to be single or not? Can you make up your mind, honey? Because you're walking down the street and these beautiful, tall, gorgeous packing, these tall, gorgeous construction workers start whistling at you, and you're like, oh, you're objectifying me. I'm a woman, and you're whistling at me. Oh, you're whistling at me. That's objectification of women, right? And then at the same, so she's like, oh, she doesn't want the straight construction workers. She doesn't want those gorgeous straight construction workers. But then she's complaining that there's all these gay guys that don't want her. So this woman walking down the street who gets whistled at by all of these gorgeous construction workers, she complains that these straight guys are whistling at her, and then she walks down another street and she doesn't like the fact that there's all these gay guys that don't want to sleep with her. So she wants to sleep with people that don't want to sleep with her, but then there's actual construction workers that do willing to sleep with her, and no, you're objectifying me, you're whistling at me. So then imagine these construction workers, they get treated like garbage. They've been portrayed as like misogynists. All of these straight heterosexual construction workers, they work real jobs. They have real jobs. They are manly and they have muscles and they have to work real jobs and they get all sweaty. And then and then they work real jobs and then they probably have sore feet at the end of the day working a hard labor job. These beautiful, tall, gorgeous construction workers. And then they get shit on by these feminist women who be like, oh, he whistled at me. How dare he whistle at a woman? Wait a minute. I thought you were just complaining. You didn't like the fact that there's all these gay men. Oh, I can't find a date because all the men are gay. And then, well, hey, these construction workers, these beautiful straight construction workers, they're not gay and they're whistling at the woman. And she's like, don't objectify me. You see how crazy that is? You see how crazy these certain women are? You see how crazy certain women are? The same women going around complaining that she was objectified by men whistling at her as the same one going around, oh, why can't I find a date? Or all the men are gay. You see how that's one of the reasons men are gay. It's because they can't handle the crazy women. They can't handle the craziness. It's like, what do you want? You want the men to whistle at you or not? You want the men to be gay? You don't like straight men whistling at you, so you want them to be gay? What do you want? Right? It's like they're not happy when the straight guys are whistling at them, and they're not happy when they're gay. So how do you make these crazy women happy? How do you make them happy? Sorry, I just had some technical difficulties. I got a text message from someone. Uh, my Russian handler. No, I'm just joking. Got a text message from someone. I had to respond to a text message, but anyways, I'm back. So yeah, basically, it's like you have all of these women that are going around, these feminists, these so-called feminists that hate men, that are complaining about men, and heck, I'm gonna call a spade here. You know who suffers the most from women? Straight men. You know how many stories I hear from straight men? Oh, she's such a bitch. She's such a biatch, right? Oh, she's a gold digger. Oh, she's just after my money. Oh, she's crazy. Oh, she's this. Oh, she's that. Oh, she cheated on me when I was faithful to her. All of the abuse, most of the abuse is like, as a gay man, I do get abused by homophobic women. I definitely do. I get abused by homophobic women, but being a gay man, I steer clear of those crazy bitches. I steer clear of them. But straight men get a lot of the abuse because straight men have to put up with these crazy women. So you have all these wonderful straight guys. They're loyal and they're faithful, and they still get cheated on by these social climbers, and then they're gold diggers. They're just out for his money. They don't really care about him. Then they falsely accuse him of like many things. They falsely accuse the guy of doing stuff to her. They falsely accuse him of hitting her. Then did you see? Oh my God! My heart breaks. I could just thinking about it. There's a video. It's on YouTube. It's a viral video. It's gone viral. This military veteran, gorgeous, gorgeous man, gorgeous, real, strong, masculine man. Now that's a man, real, strong, masculine, gorgeous, and he was dating some crazy bitch with blue hair. Okay? He was dating some crazy bitch with blue hair, and she wasn't contributing to the household. She was a slob. She was very overweight, and she was a nightmare. And finally, he had enough, and he told her to get out. He told her to get the F out, right? And he acted like a man, like a real strong. Oh man, if that guy had threw me out, if he pushed me out the door, I would just be so happy that, I got some action, Like what a strong masculine military soldier, so strong and manly, and just wonderful guy with a nice. He was shirtless in the police video, in the police body cam video. He was shirtless, a very good looking man. And it was so sad what happened to him. And he was dating this woman which she had blue hair. She was overweight. She was a total biatch, and she straight up. And even the comments, people in the comments were saying she straight up had that guy murdered because she was like a vindictive biatch. Clearly her life wasn't in danger. Clearly, if believe me, this was a military guy. If her life was really in danger, she wouldn't have been able to walk out the door at all. So clearly her life wasn't in danger. She called the police to be a biatch. She called the police on him. And of course, because he's a real strong, manly man who spent years being a military veteran, he served in Iraq or whatever. Can't remember exactly how he served, but he was a military veteran, right? And he defended our country. He's a real strong, manly man, and he's just standing his ground. And the police, who are dicks, the Nazi police, they assassinate this military guy, and it's his apartment, it's his house, and she's just some and like she was barely contributing. She was barely contributing to anything. She was probably eating all the food. You see how fat she is. She was like overweight. She had blue hair, and then she called the police. She was clearly not in danger. She did not need to call the police. He was literally telling her to leave. She was infringing on him. She was harassing him. She was staying around when he didn't want her there. So she was the dangerous one, clearly. It's not like he was like, oh, trying to find her and no. He was telling her to leave. She wouldn't leave. He finally had to push her out the door because she wouldn't leave. And then she pretended as if she's the victim, and she went and she called the police like a dick. And then she had this guy assassinated. This a military veteran. She had a military veteran assassinated. This biatch with blue hair and overweight had a military guy assassinated. Hey, Megyn Kelly. Hey, Megyn Kelly. Hey, Tommy Lauren. Hey, Laura Ingraham. Hey, Candace Owens. Hey, Trish Reagan. Hey, Tucker Carlson. Well, Tucker Carlson. Anyways, he's a straight guy. Tucker Carlson's a straight guy. But hey, all these straight women, straight conservative women like Tommy Lauren and Megyn Kelly and Laura Ingraham, and why don't you put this on your channel? Why don't the Megyn Kelly show, why don't you play the clip of this beautiful, strong military veteran who was assassinated by this fat, overweight, crazy leftist biatch with blue hair, and the man who was acting like a man was like, he wasn't going to be put in cuffs. He wasn't going to let the American Nazi police degrade him. This guy is a man who was a military veteran who served in Iraq defending the country, and he was gorgeous and he was tall. He wasn't going to let the American police humiliate him and degrade him when he's a military veteran who served and he served his country. So no, he wasn't going to be let the police take him, and he would rather he's the type of guy that would rather perish than be humiliated or be, denigrated by the American police, right? Now, there are other guys who have been denigrated by the American police, but then they realize that there's a bigger picture, and, sure, you might have to take it a little bit for now, but then in the future, you can scheme up a plan to get all of the American cops eliminated, right? So there's other guys like that. There's two types of guys. Well, there's many types of guys, but there's the type of guy that says, "Oh, I have too much pride to let the police take me and humiliate me and do this." And then there's another type of guy who'd be like, "Oh, you take me, you humiliate me. I go back to Canada. I call all of my contacts, and then we arrange." Anyways, so I wasn't talking about anyone specific. I wasn't talking about anyone, but basically, American police officers are Nazis. American police officers are a-holes, and they deserve their karma. Whatever karma is coming for American cops, dirty American Nazi police officers, dirty corrupt American Irish police officers, whatever their karma's coming. And what goes around comes around. I just say karma's a coming. Karma's a coming for Nazi American police officers. Especially those dirty Irish cops. Dirty Irish cops that put innocent people in prison. And then they beat up military veterans, strong, tall, masculine military veterans. So, just reading these comments. Um, Laughy face. I see a laughy face. Someone came in and said he is literally just talking to a wall. No, I'm telling the truth. I'm talking a lot. Telling a lot of truth that is not often said in the mainstream media. Someone came in and said he drinks Monsters and Red Bulls. Sometimes I drink Red Bulls. I don't really drink Monsters anymore. But sometimes I drink energy drinks. But I find you can't drink energy drinks too much because they have too much caffeine, unfortunately. But I do like I actually like to taste the Monster energy drink. I like to taste the Red Bulls. Um, Someone also said, I bet he's the type of person who believed the rapture was actually going to happen. I didn't believe it was going to happen. I just didn't know if it was going to happen. I mean, I was open minded. Maybe it was going to happen. I didn't know for sure. Um, Someone also came in and said, "Why so quiet? Can't find shit to talk about anymore." No, I'm constantly changing topics. I'm talking about different things, appealing to different audiences, right? I definitely, speaking Russian, speaking English. There's a lot of things to talk about. Basically, what I will say is what happened to Charlie Kirk is definitely not, in my opinion. First off, the lies they're telling us, like everyone is coming out and saying they don't believe the feds. They don't believe the American feds, especially Candace Owens, all of these big YouTubers. They're clearly saying that the story doesn't make sense. There's something going on here. There's other people who are in on it. There's other people who are involved. But what I will say is, yes, there's definitely more to this story. There's more to what's going on. It's part of a bigger picture. It's part of a bigger agenda. And basically, America has a lot of enemies. I mean, America has a lot of enemies. Obviously, the stereotypical traditional enemies of America are Russia, Iran, China, North Korea, Japan, Germany, Cuba, Venezuela, and pretty much all of the Middle East, and Korea and Vietnam. Those are like the traditional, what you think, typical American enemies of America. But actually, Canada is like, hey, did everyone forget about us? Oh, you think you hear about a Canadian spy, and like these Americans, they suddenly hear there's a spy. Oh, who's the spy? Is it a Russian spy? Is it a German spy? Is it an Iranian spy? And then they hear Canada. It's a Canadian spy, and then the Americans just start laughing like a spy from Canada. What? What? You mean he's not Russian? So he's not German? He's not Iranian? So then what did we get out of bed for? Why did we have this emergency meeting, Americans? A spy from Canada? And then the Americans just start laughing. And then there's like this Canadian guy in the corner, this gay Canadian guy would be like, yeah, I'll show you. Spy from Canada. Anyways, I'm not referring to anyone specific. I'm just talking in generally speaking. So Americans don't take Canada seriously. Americans don't. There's a lot of countries Americans don't take seriously. Sweden, they don't take those nice Swedish people seriously. Americans don't take Australia seriously, but then neither does Canada. We don't. Crikey, 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 mate. Crikey, mate. Canada doesn't really take Australians seriously either, especially when many of those Australians are inbreds, got sister wives. So, but basically, Canada, I mean, we're not inbreds in Canada. We're normal, nice people. And the Americans think that they can just walk all over Canadians. They think we're a bunch of liberal pushovers up here. Most Canadians are liberals, but there's a lot of conservative Canadians. And We are talented and educated and strong, true north, strong and free. So Americans should take Canada more seriously. And yeah, but so there's America has a lot of enemies, and what happened recently, on September 10th, that's just part of a bigger picture, really. It's part of a bigger agenda. America has a lot of enemies, and unfortunately, Americans, they became very even more hostile after 9/11. Unfortunately, Americans became more hostile after 9/11. America has a lot of enemies. Now, I'm a conservative Canadian. I love you. I love Americans. I'm a conservative Canadian, but there's a lot of Canadians that, like, they didn't like the fact that America was saying make Canada the 51st state. That was a major issue for Canadians. So, yeah. I support Charlie Kirk. I support freedom of speech. I don't agree with everything Charlie Kirk said, but I am so for freedom of speech that I still support Charlie Kirk. And I did agree with a lot of Charlie Kirk said. I mean, there was a lot of good points Charlie Kirk made, and I really appreciate Charlie Kirk for that. I appreciate Charlie Kirk that he was also for freedom of speech and he was willing to challenge the main narrative, even if it's a narrative that I don't agree with. Even if Charlie Kirk says something I don't agree with, I actually really appreciate people who are willing to exercise their free speech and to say things that they believe in. And even if I disagree with something Charlie Kirk says, I actually appreciate free speech, and I appreciate Charlie Kirk and his fight also to defend freedom of speech. So the fact that Charlie Kirk defended freedom of speech, like he was an ally of mine, like, for sure. I totally like Charlie Kirk. But the government, the United States government, the Nazi American government, those American police officers, those dirty Irish cops, those dirty Irish police officers, the corrupt, they frame innocent people, right? They're definitely not on my side. The American feds, they're the enemy. And Candace Owens is right. Like she's basically, through evidence, through picking apart the story, she is pretty much figuratively, in a matter of figuratively speaking, maybe I'm not saying this in the best way possible. I don't know how a better way to say this. Candace Owens is basically saying the American feds did it. The American feds are in on it. What happened to Charlie Kirk, right? And I agree with Candace Owens. The American feds are the enemy. The American feds are the enemy. Charlie Kirk was an ally. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm a conservative Canadian. I didn't agree with everything Charlie Kirk said, but I definitely was supported him, and I was on his side. The American feds, on the other, the American feds can go to where. The American feds can go to he double hockey sticks, and that's my Canadian talking. But the American feds, they can go to he double hockey sticks. They can go exactly, so where the sun don't shine, or no, the sun does shine in hell, doesn't it? Wait a minute, no, it's hot in hell. I mean, it's very hot, but there's no sun there. There's no like sun. Anyways, whatever. They can go to hell. The American feds can go to hell. He double hockey sticks. The American feds can go to hell. And the CIA. I mean, the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency. They're probably were in on it too. What happened to Charlie Kirk? The FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They're probably also in on it. What happened to Charlie Kirk? So the entire American government, they're corrupt. They are corrupt. They are so corrupt. And this is why no one believes them anymore. No one believes the American government. Everything the American government says is pretty much a lie. Like 99%. When the United States government has lied about like 99% of things, how is anyone supposed to believe anything the United States government says? In fact, I was for years, the first one to say for years, that the United States government could win the Guinness World Record for most lies told by a government. It's true. The United States government, if there was a Guinness World Record for most lies told by a government, the United States government, the Israeli government, even the Canadian government would be like the top five. But the United States government would probably for sure take first place. The United States government could win the Guinness World Record for most lies told by a government. In fact, I emailed the Guinness World Record people. I emailed them and I said, hey, Why don't we do a Guinness World Record where we count the lies from every government around the world? So the American government, the Israeli government, the German government, the Canadian government, the Swedish government. We take every government around the world and then we count the lies, and then we determine which country wins the Guinness World Record of whichever government from that country who's told the most lies, right? So, for example, for America, we can look at government officials, presidents, people who worked in the government who told lies while they were working in the government. For example, in the United States, George Bush lied about weapons of mass destruction. He was the president. George Bush lied about weapons of mass destruction. George Bush told a lot of lies about 9/11 and bin Laden, etc., and Saddam Hussein. Bill Clinton lied about wanking Monica Lewinsky in the White House. Bill Clinton lied about that. He admitted he lied after, but it was counted as a lie. Bill Clinton lied about that. Um, they lied about COVID. The United States government lied about COVID and Anthony Fauci, etc. The United States government, they clearly lied about the Epstein files. There's surely something going on with the Epstein files. They're definitely mishandling the Epstein files. The United States government, there's a cover up going on there. The United States government, a lot of people believe the United States government lied about the moon landing. A lot of people believe that the moon landing in the 1970s was fake. So a lot of people, so that might be a lie. United States people believe the United States government lied about the moon landing. The United States government lied about California being on fire for sure. Gavin Newsom, definitely, there's something shady going on there with Gavin Newsom in California being on fire. The United States government, oh, Hillary Clinton lied about Benghazi. Hillary Clinton lied about the email server scandal with email server. Hillary Clinton uh, told a lot of lies, apparently. Um, did Obama lie about anything? Probably. I mean, he's an American president. He probably lied about something. Um, Joe Biden lied about many things. He lied. He said he'd never pardon his son. Joe Biden, the president, said he would never pardon his son, and then look what he did. He pardoned Hunter Biden. So clearly that was a lie. He said he would never pardon Hunter Biden, and he did pardon Hunter Biden. So Joe Biden lied. Joe Biden lied about many things. So basically, you get the point. Oh, and Kamala Harris, did Kamala Harris lie about anything? She does a lot of accents. Like she changes her accent, anyways. Like one day I'm like from the. I can't really do like a ghetto accent. Anyways, one day she's like from the hood, right? She's like, yo, 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 I'm Kamala from the hood. The next day, she's like, oh, welcome to America. Welcome to. Anyway, so Kamala Harris, she keeps changing her accent, right? And then does the cackle. So, anyways, the American government, the American presidents, the American government, they could win the Guinness World Record for most lies told by a government. So, like, we should do it. Hey, if anyone in the audience in the comments section right now, you should email the Guinness World Records people and say, why don't we do, like, I already emailed them, but maybe they didn't care a few years ago, but why don't we do the Guinness World Record for most lies told by a government? And we could make a top five list. And Canada would probably be in the top five. I mean, the Canadian government would be up there too in terms of telling a lot of lies. The government of Canada tells a lot of lies. So, but I definitely think the United States government would win the Guinness World Record for most lies told by a government. For sure. I think the United States government would win. So.